Can you imagine sitting through a 10-hour surgery with your 9-year-old son due to a condition caused by medication that you were given during pregnancy? One of the greatest joys and the scariest moments is finding out you're expecting. You go through so many emotions at one time, the safety of your unborn child being the most important. For me, the worst part of pregnancy was the morning sickness. I visited the ER regularly, at least 2 to 3 times a week during my first trimester. Each time, I reluctantly returned, knowing that I would be given a medication that my doctors ensured would be safe and minimize this awful part of pregnancy. This miracle drug I'm referring to is known as Zofran. Zofran is produced by GlaxoSmithKline. I am convinced that this drug was the main cause of the birth defect my son suffers from, and I explained this condition in my introduction speech. It's known as sagittal craniosynostosis. Some of the women that were given Zofran, also known as ondansetron, in their first trimester to treat severe nausea, gave birth defects to infants with severe birth defects, including facial abnormalities, cleft palates, cleft lips, cranial deformities, which would be craniosynostosis, and heart defects. In July of 2012, GlaxoSmithKline settled a massive criminal and civil claim from the U.S. Department of Justice for $3 billion in what's said to be the largest settlement from a drug company so far in the U.S. history. The company pled guilty to 3 counts of criminal behavior for off-label promotion of a medication used to treat nausea in cancer patients, per MedTech. As an infant, my son's head always presented larger at his well exams, and at one point we were even sent to a pediatric neurologist in Orlando that was just rude when saying my son had a, quote, big head. However, the pediatricians up until 1.5 years ago never thought to find out why his head grew long and not wide. He had been dealing with massive migraines with no explanation. Upon further investigation, we learned that an emergency surgery to remove his skull completely and replace it was needed, and within 2 weeks, our life changed completely. Although this medicine had only been used for cancer and chemo patients, GlaxoSmithKline unlawfully encouraged doctors to prescribe it for expectant mothers and for other uses, per MedTruth. Not only can Zofran cause defects in vitro, but also in breastfeeding women. My son falls in both categories. This medication is still very popular amongst hospitals and doctors and pregnant women. And obviously, the results to the infant can be quite alarming. The use of this drug for nausea and vomiting in pregnant women increased from 50,000 monthly prescriptions in 2008 to 110,000 at the end of 2013, despite unresolved issues with fetal safety and the FDA warnings about serious dysrhythmias, according to the studies. In 2015, a Minnesota mother filed the first civil Zofran lawsuit for the congenital heart defects that occurred in her 2 daughters at birth. In that same year, 12 more Zofran lawsuits were delegated to the U.S. District Courts of Massachusetts. As of February 2019, more lawsuits against GSK have escalated to a multi-district litigation. I am planning to take action against the company myself, even after our extensive surgery, symptoms have returned stemming from this condition. He can no longer be in school, and his daily lifestyle is no longer the same. It's so hard for us to be normal anymore. After I learned the dangers of this drug, I denied it with the subsequent pregnancies, and my other kids have absolutely no issues at all. I hope you take away with you today the dangers of this drug to infants and unborn fetuses. Many children suffer through this condition as it can be overlooked early on. If and when you decide to start a family, please look into natural remedies for morning sickness. Do not let Zofran be the cause of this condition in your baby.